Hi, everybody. We are here again for the love of health, where I get the amazing opportunity to connect and talk to health businesses and health business owners really across the country, across the globe. It's been an amazing opportunity. This is going to be, I think we're officially at episode 20, which is just absolutely crazy, went out the gate. And of course, we're here to talk all things business. And I'm here today with Heather Gray. Heather is, she is a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. Did I say that right?
You did. Good job.
Okay, thank you. So obviously, root cause therapeutics, probably gut terrain things today, guys. So another opportunity for us to not only pick up people we want to learn from, or maybe build our skills in, or more expertise or certifications from, but also, where else can we extend our business to other kinds of holistic skill sets? And of course, learning from Heather and hearing her story. So thanks for being on, Heather.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And so why don't you tell us how, where your business is located and, what you got going on?
So I work remotely right now, but I live in Loveland, Colorado. Graduated back in 2013, had some moderate success right out the gate, and then went through a divorce and blew up my business and blew up my life. And it took me 7 years to get back to it. And I reopened again April 1st of last year. So I'm almost coming up on my 1 year, and that's about what I'm doing.
Awesome. So when you say remote, are you meeting your clients online?
Yep. Inline and on person. I mean, the work that I do is all online, but I do meet people, networking in person. I've got friends locally, and then I've got some other people that I've signed up that are in California. One's in Malaysia, one's in New Jersey. So a little bit of everything, local and not local.
Awesome. And what are some of your current goals with your business?
Well, I just hired a business coach to get me to that 10K a month mark. Actually, I hired her back in November, and we're in the middle of my first launch. So that's a big goal that I've been working on.
Oh, that's great. What are you launching?
Just basically my program. I never had an official launch when I started. If I would have known then what I know now, I would have dropped that money on her from day one of opening up the practice. But I didn't, so I'm a little late getting started with her, but it's all good. I'm still in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of little breakthroughs are you seeing happening?
Well, she's really, really, really helping me get concise with my messaging. That seems to be all. I feel like she's a teacher with a ruler just smacking my hand every time I try to put something out there on social media. And she's like, is that what your ideal client would say? Or is that what you would say? This isn't about you. So a lot of it has been really getting clear with my messaging and my marketing. And I'm definitely seeing some headway with that. I'm getting interest in people, and they seem to be able to hear me. What's the point of putting shit out there if people can't hear you?
Gotcha. So was that a challenge that you had before? Did you feel like people were understanding what you had to say?
I didn't in the beginning, because I had people sign up. Like I said, I always had a moderate level of success right out the gate, but then I don't know what happens. And then sometime about this 4 to 6 month mark, something happens and crickets. And I don't know, the marketing that I used before didn't work anymore, so that's why I decided to hire a business coach, because I kind of got sick of throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks. Just the same reason I went and became an FDN is because the same thing with my health. I got sick of throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. So working with a coach definitely can get you results faster and more streamlined.
Yeah, well, you bring up a really excellent point too at blocks, and how blocks can come up. You did a process that you applied before. It was successful, but then at some point it kind of stopped working. So, could you go back to that, please, and tell us when did you know that it wasn't working anymore? Was it just the numbers, or was something else happening, do you think, personally or otherwise?
Yeah, it was definitely like my first month where I had no sales. It was like, I had like 3 or 4 months of kind of somewhat consistent sales, and then all of a sudden crickets. And then I put something else out and crickets. A lot of it had to do in the beginning was with my own health journey, so people, my friends, my Facebook, family were watching me lose 45 pounds. They were watching me get out of depression and anger and anxiety. They were watching me get out of my chronic pain. So they followed me on my journey and were like, yes, yes, yes. But then I think I was kind of saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I think people tuned out. And so, like I said, that's how I'm trying to, that way of very lax, kind of comfortable, friendly talking kind of ran its course. And then it was time for me to step up and be more of a professional and have a bigger reach than just the small background that I was playing in.
That's a really good point. Maybe speaking to a different intention rather than the one that you originally served you. Maybe it was outgrowing what it was serving you. And, so what are you growing into now? How are you liking, what kind of energy are you showing up in now?
Totally different because I hired another coach. So this last month I've been working with 2 coaches, and one of them is strictly on mindset and energy, like all of it. What energy are you in? What energy are you in? What's your intention? Did you set your intention before you put this stuff out there? So, and it was awesome. So through one networking group, I met a woman who did sales for a local magazine. And she's kept wanting me to advertise. And I told her girlfriend, I don't have the funds right now to advertise. But because I made that relationship with her, when they came time to do an article on food and mood, she thought of me to be interviewed. So that went in January's edition. And then somebody from the Fort Collins, city of Fort Collins read it. And now I got my first speaking gig, like paid speaking gig.
Great.
So that's kind of the direction that I'm hoping to kind of shift into in the next couple of years. Is I really would love to be the one that gets out there and inspires people. And
yeah, it doesn't hurt that like leveraging in-person talks and things like that really have a high conversion rate as well for people.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Well, those all seem like really awesome paths to where you're trying to go. So what is it that you do? How do you serve your clients? How are you showing up?
So I use functional lab work to help get to the root causes of people's malfunctions, right? I'm usually taking a handful of labs in the beginning because I want to look at gut health. I want to look at sensitivities. I want to find all the hidden stressors that are going on in their body that's causing them to be, not work at 100%. And then over the next 3 months, I coach them up on diet, exercise, stress reduction, supplementation, and sleep, because those are like the pillars of health. And most of us never were taught why we shouldn't stay up till 2:00 in the morning, right? There's actually physiological reasons why we're not supposed to be up until 2:00 in the morning with these blue lights. Most of us weren't taught. Water out of the tap is actually killing a lot of the microbiome that you have in your gut that you need to make neurotransmitters, blah, blah, blah. So I really love to coach the foundation. Absolutely 100% the foundation.
And is your business model currently allowing other forms of revenue besides your private coaching? Are you doing group programs, courses, things like that? The only other source of income I'd have right now would be from affiliate programs that I have. I hope to do some group programs and some other stuff like that in the future, but right now I've just been kind of really trying to lay down that foundation of the business first that I kind of seem to miss in the beginning, and I'm kind of going back and laying that down, and then from there I can build. Sounds great. And then I saw on some of your content that you really care about like mental health, mental wellness. Like, how does that kind of fit into that picture?
Well, so I just got done taking an advanced course with a doctor. Her name's Dr. Amy Apigian, and she teaches about the biology of trauma, and was kind of showing that if people have depression and anxiety, that it could be from this pyrrole disorder. It could be from having a zinc deficiency. It could be from having a copper excess. And so those 3 things there, also in teaching with more about lifestyle, can really be low-hanging fruit on people turning around within 2 to 3 weeks and feeling better. So I'm learning more about microdosing with psychedelics. I'm learning about NAD IVs, to help people out of depression. So I'm really, really specializing around that mental health piece, because other than, talk therapy and prescriptions, that's all Western med will kind of pay for it. And we've seen what's that doing for folks these days. It's something more has to happen. And I want to be a part of that shift.
That's great. So, what kind of challenges do you have coming up right now? You said you're in a launch, so there's a lot of things that come up with a launch. What are you finding out that you're like, oh, I'll have to change that for next time, or that was interesting?
Just as much as I'm just finding out more how much I hate, and I already knew marketing and making the copy. I hate copy. It's not my forte. I'll get up and talk in front of anybody anytime, but to make me sit down and put together an email or put together the social media campaign, like I can't wait till I can get to a point where I can hire that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, with launches, it's all there. There's lots of pieces to it.
Yep.
What kind of launch are you running? Are you doing like a live launch?
That's a good question. I haven't gotten, because it's happening towards the end of this month. And so I've just been taking it by piece. So actually, I don't know what the end of it looks like, to be quite honest with you, because I've kind of just been dealing with what's right in front of me. She also, my business coach, is putting on a summit for practitioners that I'm a part of, and it's happening live around the same time my launch is happening. And so I think the two have kind of blended into each other.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great. You're going to get a lot of attention from the summit. So like, just make sure your marketing is optimized so that when they land on it, they can go directly to where you need them to go.
For sure.
Yeah, sounds great. What's the name of the summit?
Oh my gosh. I should know that. It's
okay.
I know I need to find, hold on. It'll be really quick. But
you're an expert. You have things that you're busy. You got things going on.
I'm like, it's healing and practitioners. Oh, come on. Of course, my thing's not going to load. It'll be
we'll look for
here it is. The purpose of healing.
The purpose of healing. Nice.
A purpose of healing, a practitioner's summit.
Great. Congratulations. So a lot of big firsts for you right now.
Huge first for me right now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. And all those other pieces will come in. They will.
For sure. I believe it 100%. I just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yep. Who is your ideal client? Like, who are you trying to attract and work with?
Preferably, women ages 35 to 65 who have had a history of, depression, anxiety, inability to lose weight or keep weight off, hormonal issues, chronic pain, anyone who's been diagnosed with an autoimmune.
Awesome. What would you say are their like main pain points?
Like chronic pain, not enough energy, brain fog.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that with working with clients, it's like, it's always such a practice to get to know them, to get to know what they're going through. And so did you have like a service that was like a single session service before you decided to do more long-term things, or was it always like a longer?
Yeah, because otherwise, if I'm just running one lab and going off that one lab, I don't feel much different than just treating, symptoms. Like I said, throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks. Usually people that I work with have been sick enough long enough that they've got multiple systems that are out, and you really have to address the whole picture in order for someone to have long lasting health, right? Of course, I could probably throw a Band-Aid, quick fix, go get an NAD IV, you're going to feel great for a little while, and then all the symptoms and everything else is going to come back because you never addressed the root cause. So yeah, I don't do one-offs. So
is your process after the initial consult and testing, what does that look like? Of course, it's dependent on where they're at and what's going on, but do you address nutrition first with most people, or? all the things at once?
We kind of start all the things at once. I have a online platform that I made educational videos going over. So the FDN model is dress, diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, supplementation. And so the first video goes over diet. And so they'll watch one video, and then the next week we meet live and they answer any questions and, give them support. And there's a 7-day, sample menu and all that fun stuff. And then the next week they'll watch the next video, and then we'll meet the week after that. So that's kind of how I've got it set up.
And are you testing your product offers or with like a beta program, or are you just launching?
I don't know what you just said there, so I'm going to guess that I'm just launching.
Okay, sounds good.
Smile and nod.
What kind of results are your clients having? Tell me a result lately that was like, yes, that's great. That's why I'm doing this.
Diabetic and cancer and 60 pounds overweight. And she's now off of all her diabetic medications. She also had a stroke. And when I met her, she spoke like a broken 5-year-old, and her gait was very affected. She's walking smoothly now. Like, she's talking to the point where you can understand her. She's gotten off of her diabetes medications. She's lost 25 pounds.
It's amazing. So, I mean, I'm seeing a lot more that diabetes is actually, it's a huge concern. It's an insulin resistance. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Well, that, and there more and more research is coming out that type 2 diabetes especially is more due to heavy metal toxins than anything else. And we've been focusing on the sugar for so long that we're actually not detoxifying the body. Those heavy metals actually will compete with insulin sensor. Why am I losing the word? Anywho, yeah.
Sensitivity? Is that it?
No. Receptors, insulin receptors.
Okay. So like receptors in the body for it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
The heavy metals are competing.
Oh, well, that's no good.
No, it's not.
So, there's a broad range of health concerns that you can help with this core functional diagnostic route with those 4 things. But would you say and you did say that you have chronic pain and it's women that you're interested in working with, but like, is there like another more particular like thing that you're addressing specifically? Like, is it low energy? Like you said, does everybody across the board have low energy or energy issues?
Oh, yeah, for the most part. So, I mean, I was pretty specific when I said before, chronic pain, can't lose weight, brain fog, mental health, Lyme and mold. I work with a lot, and autoimmune.
Okay. And yeah, so how are you going about and finding your people? What's that look like?
Oh, geez, networking, offering a huge referral bonus to people who I'm already working with. Workshops that I'm recently putting out. I've been hanging out in some like autoimmune Facebook groups, chronic pain Facebook groups, and just trying to be as much service as I possibly can. Actually, I have a consult later today with somebody I met that way.
Very cool. Yeah. So like, if you were referring, like, it means that you already have a referral network. Like, how did you go about developing that?
Just making connections, old-fashioned way.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, there's so many kinds of referral networks, so I'm always curious to hear how people meet who they met and how that came to be. What kinds of like people do you listen to on a regular basis, like thought leader types that you turn to for suggestions or ideas for your practice?
I've been following Dr. Tom O'Brien for a long time. He wrote a book, The Autoimmune Fix, and You Can Fix Your Brain. Dr. Peter Osborne, same thing. Dr. Mark Hyman, of course. The FDN folks are always have been cutting edge and are always coming out with a lot of awesome research and kind of keeping me on that cutting edge fringe, which is amazing. Dr. Amy Apigian, where I learned about the biology of trauma and learned about somatic experiencing and doing a lot of work to get your nervous system calmed down. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, it's been so nice meeting you and hearing, and thank you so much for sharing insights on your business and what you got going on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.